Is our monetary system starting to shift? We're seeing countries form organizations that, are, I guess, starting to think differently. So I don't know if you know much about the Brics Corporation, but I think you're going to find this interesting. Central banks might be preparing for a gold-based monetary regime. So what does that mean? So as we know, central banks have been buying up gold like crazy. And as you can see here, countries such as China, India, Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, Singapore have all been increasing their gold reserves, and a massive demand and drive after a record-breaking purchase in 2022. And it hasn't just been the last 2 years that central banks have been driving the gold demand. It's been going on for the last decade. So as you can see here, something's going on. So in 2010, China and India, according to the World Gold Council, were the largest consumers of gold. And if we fast forward to 2022, those two countries are still the highest consumers, followed by the United States, Saudi Arabia, Germany, Turkey, and Iran, which is very interesting because a lot of these countries are either already in the BRICS or starting to show interest in joining the BRICS. And we know what happened in 2008 with the GFC. So the biggest single buyer of gold are the central banks in the world's leading economies. This is the Federal Reserve in the United States, the People's Bank of China, and the Central Bank of India continue to maintain and enhance their gold reserves. So according to the IMF data, it shows that United States maintain the largest gold reserve, followed closely by Germany, and then the IMF, the International Monetary Fund itself, in third place. So as you can see here, when you look up the US debt clock, it shows you clearly United States, Germany, then IMF. So who is the IMF? What is the IMF, you might be asking? The IMF is basically a group that monitors the international monetary system and global economic developments to identify risks and recommend policies for growth and financial stability. So the people that give out loans and tell you to save in fiat currency are actually the biggest buyers and consumers of gold. So while they tell you not to buy gold, they're going to do that, and they give you the paper money that they want you to save. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a big believer in doing what they do, not what they say. At the moment, the US dollar is the reserve global currency, but we're starting to see evidence that countries are starting to abandon the dollar, and that suggests that we maybe are shifting to a new monetary system. So Saudi Arabia, Russia, Brazil, China, even France are all willing to trade their resources for a different currency. So this means that, we could see dramatic shifts in what we're used to. So who is the BRICS? What is the BRICS? What does it stand for? It's basically a group of countries. So Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, they're the founding countries, and they say their aim is to promote peace, security, development, and cooperation. But I suppose you could say they're getting sick and tired of being bullied by America, and they're dying fiat currency, the way they print it, and they've decided that they don't really want to be giving their resources for toilet paper money. So I would suggest that's probably the main reason these countries are starting to form together, because they're over it. And it's not just these countries that are coming together. We're seeing numerous other countries that express interest, such as Argentina, Iran, Saudi Arabia. So what does that mean? If Saudi Arabia was to join forces with the BRICS, it would probably push the European Union to ditch the US dollar and settle for oil and gas trade in the new currency. Therefore, Saudi Arabia joining and accepting the BRICS currency could tilt the global powers from the west to the east. So, like I said before, are we starting to see a shift in monetary system?